I hope, anyway. Apologies for that, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Tier 1 Studio. Jake, if you want to go through that again, I apologize. Thank you.
Not a problem. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, then over to Tsukuba here in Japan. We find ourselves in Ibaraki Prefecture, and we're getting ourselves set for racing action then here today. In the first round of the Aino Image Racing IR Cup here at this wonderful circuit, which is the house place for beginners out there to say, look, we're going to try ourselves out there and say, look, here is how it goes. I'm Jake Sperry. That is Pat Wilkinson along with me for the ride here today. And Pat, as far as it is going to set itself out, we know that this is the start here, a chance for drivers to understand each other, these creators to go out there and have content and go out there and battle it out and say who is the top VTuber out there in the space and who content creates better than everyone else.
Couldn't agree with you more. Thanks for joining me up in the booth, Jake. And again, apologies for the slight scuff already in the stream. It wouldn't be one of my broadcasts if it wasn't, completely botched from the start. Well, just ignore that, but it's fine. Ava Berry currently leading the way, 54 of Danak Kalmari, in the 54 currently on board with, down in second place, 1.199 behind Ava Berry with a 1 minute 1:6:05. So far out here tonight. This is a great track for a lot of drivers to learn on. This is a fantastic place for everyone to get to know each other, get to grips with these GR86 Toyota Cup cars. These are very fun, very fast cars to drive. Not the most sophisticated things in the world, which makes them great for the beginners, but it gives everybody a good opportunity to figure each other out in terms of racecraft, how people like driving, where you want to place yourself on the racetrack in battle positions for the lead or for gaining positions overall. It's going to be a great day of racing here at Tsukuba.
Yeah, Tsukuba is going to be one of these tracks where I think you're going to have to learn about it. It's the 2K full layout, which is the one that everyone will be most familiar with here today. It's a 2.04 kilometer circuit, 12 turns out there on circuit. And for Denet Kalmari, that second position, they only get 3 laps here in qualifying to go and set their time. They've got 15 minutes available to go and set a qualifying effort. So we will see the majority of cars out there who will have set their first times and actually have gone through a lot of them. There are drivers like Lou Maynard, for example, who has gone and only just started a first flying lap out there in this Toyota GR86. And what a car, actually, to go and work with. This is scanned from the Toyota GR86 North America series out there, which is commentated by a good friend of mine, Joe Peak. And this a car out there that offers a lot in terms of its history and its heritage. It is the spiritual successor, Pat, to the Truno AE86, which everyone knows as the tofu car from Initial Drift, Initial D. But they've also is a cruel irony with this car that the traction control is locked on.
Yes, it is. That is one of the major flaws with a fixed setup car and series. That when they say fixed, they really do mean everything's fixed. Traction control, ABS, and in my opinion, that's something I don't fully agree with, especially in the higher classes here on iRacing, such as the GT, GT3, LMP, and prototype cars. Yeah, we get that it's a fixed setup, so that means, your aero, your suspension, your engine package, everything is as similar as can be to each other in terms of multi-class racing to keep the racing competitive and fun for everybody. But you shouldn't be stuck with, having no adjustments for yourself and for your own comfort out here, especially in cars like this, as simple as they are. If you can't get comfortable in a car like this, it cannot really improve when you move up into the higher classes, as unfortunately I found out through my career in iRacing over the past few years. It's incredibly difficult to really get to grips with trying to work with these cars on a fixed setup and not be able to make any even slight adjustments. Can be very off-putting for a lot of drivers, including even the folks at the higher levels.
Maynard then over to the line. Second lap improves to a 102.5 out there at the moment. Track temperature is a 29 degrees Celsius, so that's roughly about, I would say, the mid-80s out there in terms of temperature. It's not too hot, it's not too cold. It's about perfect for a track temperature. Second lap doesn't work. Zulworks then's currently out there on a lap, about to finish the opening attempt there, and looking to cross 16 drivers out there overall, and that's a 102.3 to start, so good enough to go top half then to put things into process through turn 1 and turn 2 out there, as the long corners actually count as 2. This is 3 into 4, and now 5 and 6. Slightly banked corner in through the left-hander before you work towards turn 7. This I would say medium speed right-hander, 115 kilometers an hour through this corner, and then you're trying to work hard through 8, and you set yourself up for 9, and the very tough turn 10, which is the biggest braking zone on the circuit, to give you as much rotation through the corner and the drive needed off the exit on this long backstretch over to the final corner, turn 12, which really leaves you to rely on the medium speed cornering to get over the line. If you can manage that, that's a lap around this Tsukuba circuit, and as the charge goes from Zul, needs 0.2 of a second to move up to 7th place. All of the rumble strip on the exit, that's a 102.2, enough for a 10th, but not a place.
This is some fantastic driving we're seeing out of Zul out here tonight in the number 21, currently in 8th place. He's definitely got some good pace out here, though. Despite that last lap not being a position improvement, the time he gained on it does show that there is plenty of room out here for a lot of people to pick up a lot of speed around this track. It's just that despite it being a more like a school circuit, a place you'd be able to go bring your car and learn how to race at just about 1 1/3 of a mile, this is a undeniably very difficult racetrack to learn on, and I will fight tooth and nail to say that this is arguably one of the most difficult of the shorter circuits here on iRacing and in a lot of games general. This is a track that always caught me off guard when I was first getting started in the old Forza Motorsport games, in plenty of other racing games that featured this circuit. I cannot say more that this place definitely has some serious skill to race around, and this is not just a walk in the park.
It's not. Most people will know this, of course, through the Gran Turismo series, and moving up, made its way right forward here in Gran Turismo 4, and Zul's final lap, ultimately a 103.7. Her time does not improve, so she gets stuck then in that 8th position. Only car out there on circuit, and it means that every lap now has been completed in its entirety, with 4 minutes and 38 seconds remaining on the clock. And so as far as that sets itself in play, that will mean that qualifying has put itself in the books. So I would look around. We've got a wide variety of pace out there, but we will have an understanding of, we can jump through the starting grid here on Tier 1 Studio and give you a sense of where everyone is going to be lining up on this. So Ava Berry will hold the pole position on a 101.455, a full 3.5 tenths clear of Danat Kalmari in second position. It's Midnight R who is then in third, ahead of Isaac Umbers, as Kronos Nomura will line up 5th, and JJ to Traveller will be in that 6th position. Zen will be going in 7th, with Zulworks then 8th, which leaves Black Hawk Arc then starting from 9th, and Dirty Kohai rounding out your top 10. And over the page for the next 6, then that will make the laugh, because Pat, you get a start in this series, and we're going to just chalk you off at the bottom of the board. It's David Katzer, who is then in 11th, ahead of Zrushi Bun. You then got Lou Maynard, and Cypher, representing Australia, is Biggie Hugs, and rounding out the field on a 104.6 is Striker. It's an hour on the clock that they will have to race, and they were noted they do have to make a mandatory stop for 4 tyres here in this one. But critically, as they go about, they must change all 4. If they change less, stewards are not going to be very happy with it.
Couldn't agree with you more. Apologies, I just had to remember that. Oh, hey, yeah. I clicked into the session as a driver, and I meant to click in as a spectator, as I often do. Then again, sometimes I deliberately join the practice sessions so I can join everyone out on track, as we saw the other night here on Tier 1 with the Pro 4 League last night. I wanted to get some laps in those beautiful Pro 4 trucks. Very fun series, very fun vehicles to be racing in.
Yeah, and we are going to see how fun some of the other action is going to be on Tier 1 Studio a little bit later on over the course of the year. But rolling start then will get itself set up. You've got the circuit profile there in the bottom left corner of your screen. The timing tower over on the left-hand side. They know they've got an hour to try and run through, and there is your lineup then on the right as they will line up behind the Porsche iRacing first safety car out there, which is the third generation, sorry, no, it's the second generation of safety car out there on iRacing. We're already on the Gen 4 of safety car, which is the BMW M4, because we had, of course, the Mustang, the truck, the Porsche. Sorry, it's the third gen because the Porsche's third, fifth gen even, because you got the sedan, which was fourth, and then the fifth generation out there ultimately ended up being the BMW M2 safety car that is there and available to be used. But with a rolling start, there is no opportunity to get an almighty launch out there with a car that is very difficult to launch from a standing position. So all in line with what you would see out there in the Americas then. So we will get ourselves set. Apparently, Pat wants to drive here at this point.
I'm just trying to help the session advance just for a minute here. As soon as we get rolling, as soon as that timer runs out, or as soon as Lou Maynard joins the racetrack, we will be rolling here at Tsukuba. I'm just trying to help the session move along here as we have 20 seconds left. Lou Maynard may miss the start here tonight at Tsukuba in the Aino image. My apologies. Feeble-minded Americans, am I right?
Well, as far as this goes, that is going to be a start from pit lane as we get ourselves set and ready for running. So ultimately, Lou Maynard is not going to get this to go the way that it requires. But how we set from this point onwards is a case of how the hour is going to play out. Pace car will take its role then from the back stretch here over towards turn number 12, which puts the end of the lap into play, and immediately that's the quickest job I think I've ever seen a safety car do out there for a rolling start. Immediately pulls down onto pit lane. So pace now is going to be set, and it is going to be set then with Ava Berry in control. Green flag is in the air, and we are underway out there for this one. Apparently, it's just a case of got caught short as they go through. 3 wide. It will be into turn 1. 4 wide as they now try and push on the outside. Kronos Nomura then looking on in and trying to find the angle. Zen was up there looking. Isaac Umbras was trying to go through, but Midnight R and is now in second position. Nomura then trying to get through. Not the greatest start for Denat Kalmari that was needed out there overall, but ultimately it's going to set itself back into line as they're still going to be scrapping here into turn 8.
Couldn't agree with you more. Charging around the hairpins and into turn, I believe this is 10 and 11. Yes, no? My apologies. I'm not the most familiar with road courses. My apologies. I'm much more used to NASCAR and some of the dirt series that we run here on Tier 1. We charge down the backstretch into turn 12, looking down through the grid. Plenty of really fast cars, as I believe that is Zen in the 47 up the inside of the 21 of Zulworks. Yes, no.
Well, this is where you start.
I'm trying here, folks. I promise.
No worries. No worries. One lap into, but that's deep on the brakes. There's contact.
Up into the door of the 21.
Yeah, so Zen, they're getting in and involved. And ultimately, in that scenario, Zen is sitting there. Zulworks got one in the door. Has to be careful and cautious of it. Then overcommits through 4, 5, and 6. And that's going to get close. Off of the exit, Isaac Umbra is there. And you got then the likes of JJ the Traveller looking to try and get in on the middle of it. So mid-pack is going to get busy off of the start of this one. And you've still got Isaac Umbra's David Katzer then who sits on in and says, look, we want to get position. We want to start moving up. But the first few laps, it's all about settling yourself into rhythm, finding work, and that's not a great drive there from Zen off the hairpin. There goes 2 spots.
Start jumping a little bit further down through the grid. Lou Maynard did, in fact, miss the start of this race. He's not even on the track as we jump down to the Australian of Biggie Hugs. Currently down in 11th. Couple cars very wide. Whoa, we got contact at the back of the field. The 5 of
Zrusi-bun.
Zusi-bun. Excuse me. I'm trying here.
That's a real shame there for Drusi, and that's what happens when you get overlapped through the final corner. You're always thinking you're okay, and that will technically be an unsafe rejoin for Black Hawk Arc, who would have thought that more room would have been given, but you have to respect where the racing surface lies out there, and ultimately, an incident like that, if you go outside the white line, it is very much the Watkins Glen rule. You come back at your own peril.
Zusi back out on the track. He is, they are down in last. I don't know. In the number 5. Lou Maynard just on the racetrack now, I believe, in the 32. Zusi doesn't look like they have too much damage. I think they managed to escape that pretty well, as their front bumper car doesn't look too badly beaten up. Probably doesn't drive all that straight at the moment, but they're putting on a good show, trying to fight back. Black Hawk in the 25 just ahead of them as we charge down into turns 1 and 2, looking at these 4 cars ahead.
And with those 4 cars, they now look to set and say, oh, where are you going to be? As Ava Berry holds the lead of this race and does so comfortably at this moment in time. We'll be very happy with this group of 4 that are holding then in the tow at the moment, with Midnight, with Denak, and with Kronos, but all holding their mark. There's some great scrapping for 6th and 7th. Out there on, or 7th and 8th at this stage, with Zen getting a push in from Dirty Kohai through the corners. And in fact, there's a spin, and that is going to be a case of trouble out there for Zen, who is there at the back of the field, just trying to get it back up to speed again. Patience is the name of the game.
Couldn't agree with you more as we come down into turn 12 again. Zen all the way at the back. Let's jump back up to Isaac Umbras now. He's coming down pit road early, just about 4 minutes, 25 seconds into this race. A bit early for a pit stop. Do you think he has any real damage out here, Jake?
Well, look at the front. That will tell you all you need to know, and I think is a telling sight for Isaac Umbras there, looking to try and get up and in. Or actually, that might just be the way that the grill has set. So finding yourself in the middle of the pack leaves you with a little bit more difficulty out there, and if you're trying to fight that way back and you're looking at those 4 tyres, you might want to be doing that sooner rather than later. So it could be early strategy, and it could be something out there that is going to be maybe a little bit tougher. There's your leading quartet out there at this stage. They are now dropping Kronos Nomura on that last lap. Kronos was slightly quicker, but I feel on this lap we're going to see a lot more difference. Oh, in the grass and struggling there. Midnight in trouble. There's a place gone. Very wide off the final turn for Midnight in the number 31, excuse me. Kronos in the 27. Yeah, they are falling back, excuse me. I'm trying to be neutral about everything here because I don't know who everybody is, so I apologize for that. Isaac just on the racetrack once again as Ava comes around right behind him under the Dunlop Bridge into turns, I believe that is turn 10, into turn 11 here at the top of the hairpin. Again, forgive me, I'm not the most confident on these road courses. I know the more NASCAR ones, I know Sonoma, I know the Glen, I know Nürburgring and places like that, but a lot of these shorter tracks I don't always have the best memory of. Too many things to remember these days, as Ava Berry is putting on a good show. They have been leading the race for the majority of it so far, running all the way over the green on the outside of turn 12 as we charge down into turns 1 and 2 we go again. Danak Kalmari right there behind them, just over half a second behind. Midnight about 1.2 behind the leader as we come through turns 5 and 6. It's a weird numbering system here. Almost every single flick left and right does count as a corner, which I suppose goes to the American style of numbering out there, where you get the 8A, 8B, 8C when you go to places like Barber, for example. It's quite similar in that regard, but Danak here has just been very, very calm, has just been working to try and get that level back up through. And I think he's just trying to sit on the back, try and get this to run towards the end of this race, because you can't win a race like this one here, Pat, in the opening hour, well, in the opening 10 minutes. But my goodness, have we seen many a driver before in many races go and lose a race like this one early as they stage. Battle also on for 5th and 6th right now, as you've got Zulworks under pressure from JJ the Traveller, who goes to the inside looking for this one. And look at them, panel to panel into turns 1 and 2. And a little knock on the door from Zul says that that is not going to be the clearance that she wants.
That was some great battling from JJ as he went on past the 21 of Zul. Zul really trying to put on a good show out here as well. A lot of really fast drivers out here getting stuck in this mid-pack at the moment as we come towards the halfway mark and the rear end of this circuit up to turns 10 and 11. Still on board with a 21, Dirty Koi in the 53 just behind Zul. David Katz in the 41 right behind them as well. Really good pack here. I believe about 5 or 6 cars in a bit of a draft train down the backstretch into turn 12. Come back around towards the start-finish line. Still some good racing left to do, and I couldn't agree with you more. More races have been lost in the opening 10 minutes or the opening laps of races, especially at these shorter tracks where pit stops are the true killer of time here. The more time you spend in pit road getting repaired, the more time you're losing and potentially more laps you're going to be losing on the rest of the field as we come back around through turns 5 and 6.
Yeah, and now over into turn 7, this right-hand bend. Normally you need the medium gears. It's a light lift for most to go through. You try and hold it flat, but that's where understeer takes control and makes life very tough by comparison to go and get the passes sorted. But I would turn and say that if you're looking around at it, you're trying to get this to half and half. 30 and 30 would be the best way that you want to try and get this done on tyre strategy, or however long you want to get the undercut sorted on what is a single track pit lane. And very unique here, they don't have any room to expand at this circuit for the pit lane by measure of the fact that they've got a lovely water feature on the inside of this circuit. So it's not quite able, as far as a racing track goes, to do the many things that would make it more accessible, but still a place that houses many great racing series out there, including the likes of, I believe, GT300 and GT500.
Starting to jump back down into the field a little bit more. Let's go down to 39 of Cypher in the unmarked number 39. Running a good race out here so far as we cross the 10-minute mark. They're down in 10th place at the moment. Still some good pace, though. Nothing to shake a stick at. Sure, 14.7 behind the leader at the moment. But that's not a real problem at the moment, because we all know with the mandatory pit stop for tires, you will be gaining pretty much half a lap back on the entirety of the field. So if the 39, excuse me, I've been reading the number wrong, 39 of Cypher runs out their strategy just that little bit longer, maybe the 35-minute mark, just those extra 5 minutes on the tires, if they can make it work, yeah, I'd say go out, stay a little bit longer out on these first set of tires and come in just that little bit later. Use the extra grip to your advantage in the later part of this race. Make up some time and some advantage over the rest of the field, who you know is a little bit faster. Have the overall grip advantage towards the end of the race. May be what gets you into a podium place out here at Tsukuba.
I'd like to talk traffic here at the front of the field, because Isaac Umbras has been caught by Ava Berry and Denak Kalmari here, and these two who have pulled away now from Midnight and Kronos Nomura, who are now together on track for 3rd and 4th. This becomes a game of stick or twist. We know that Isaac Umbras pitted in incredibly early and is looking to go for a very long stint in this race. The downside right now is falling the lap behind, and Ava Berry here, she'll look to try and play leapfrog out there. Denak will be very happy just to stay in tow, but how you deal with lap traffic is going to be an important factor around a circuit where there are not many places where you have the luxury of lifting off and allowing someone to get by the sheer number of corner count that you get corner after corner, time after time again. You're already into turns 8 and 9.
Couldn't agree with you more as we come back around through 10 and 11. 722 goes nice and high. Ice Umbras staying nice and wide through 10 and 11 as Ava charges down the backstretch with Danak Kalmari right there behind her. Down into turn 12. Beautiful move from Ava and Danak. Getting past the 722 of Isaac Umbras. Yeah, unfortunately, that he's a lap down with early damage in this race. My damage did not sync on my end, so I did not see the front end damage that you probably saw, as I'm running a high-quality monitor on a very low-quality GPU. So I'm trying my best here. But that was a perfect textbook move from the 722, trying to get out of the way of the leaders as they're putting on a fantastic show and running away with this race, as Ava and Danak are better part of 4 seconds up on Midnight, down in third.
I've seen a bit of a car go off in the form of Striker, who's run a little bit wide, and some side-by-side as well between Zrusi Bun and Zen, which would be the battle on for 11th, and it looks like Zen then has lost the place then to Zrusi, who has got a very lovely drive then through turn 7 into 8 under that Dunlop bridge. Dunlop, a brand that maybe is starting to be retired now as part of the understanding of Goodyear, as the likes of the Goodyear bridges there. That was a little bit of a door being shut there on Zen, who was getting very cheeky down on the inside. Zrusi Bun always had the clearance through and ultimately gets the drive away by matter of fact of having to jam up on the brakes.
According to my timesheet here, Striker has had an accident. Let's take a quick look at the replay. See what happened here as he comes from under the Dunlop grid into turn 9 and into turn 10. Did he just run off?
That's just deep.
Huh. My apologies. It said that he actually crashed on my screen, so my apologies for that. Jump back to live. The number 95 of Striker Bernoulli down in 14th, last car on the lead lap at the moment. Isaac Umbras in the 722 behind. Running good. Everybody's running good races out here tonight. It's just that not a lot of luck for a lot of these folks, and just the might of Ava as Striker has a bit of a radio issue as he goes through another field trip through the grass, all the way over the curbs and onto the curbs again on the exit of turn 8 through 9 and into 10.
Definitely fighting it out there, and it's very tough when the car's not behaving the way you want it to gather it on back, and so you overdrive the car by comparison, and it can create a nightmare of a situation. So you have to set yourself up, you have to play this game the way that you intend to. But for third, Kronos Nomura hasn't necessarily let go here of Midnight. I think this is more of a scenario where I think patience is prevailing. I think that the race is coming over to Kronos rather than it is being taken away here by Midnight. So I put the question to you here, Pat. If you're in Kronos' situation, are you happy sitting behind here up until the pit stop window?
Excuse me. That is definitely an interesting question. From my personal point of view, I'm always the go-getter in these kind of situations. I like leading the way. So in my opinion, the question really is, do you try and go for an undercut? Do you go for an overcut? What do you think Midnight, in the case of Kronos, it down in 4th place in the 27, trying to run down this 31 just ahead of him? The question is, what is your internal strategy? Do you want to stay out long? Do you want to come in early and risk not having the grip that they do towards the end of the race, as the 31 of Midnight takes a huge jump through the
slowdown penalty.
Huh?
So Midnight's got a slowdown penalty here, and so it's going to have to give the time back right now here on circuit for cutting the course, and this could be the prime moment for Kronos Nomura to go and gather this back. It is served by now here from Midnight, so very well done to get that served without losing the position, but ultimately the level you have to push there, that's a warning shot.
Couldn't agree with you more, especially with the track limits. At any racetrack, you have to be very wary of how hard you can push your car over the curbs or into the grass a little bit, depending on which racetrack you're at, because not all of them do have the curbs. But A place like Tsukuba, excuse me. I'm gonna keep messing that up. I apologize. I've been calling it Tsubaka for 20 years now, and I'm slowly losing my mind that I have to change that. Still on board with the 27 as they run a little bit wide off of the curbs, off of turn 6, I believe, through 7 into 8 and 9. Trying to run down the 31 of Midnight just ahead of him as we go into 10 and 11. I think this 27 of Kronos is gonna have a chance at getting this 31 just ahead of him, but that did not help as they slid wide off of turn 11, racing down the backstretch into turn 12.
And that's where the traction control kicked in for Kronos Nomura. The car just pretty much understeering no matter how much rotation was put into that steering wheel, and it made a world of difference there going through turn 11. So with that, costs a ground of about 6 car lengths then, and it's going to take the work to get it back 9/10 as it was over the line. Zulworks and Dirty Kohai behind side by side in the background a shot. So they're going to have this drive through 3 and 4 and over to turns 5 and 6. Kohai falls back into line then and gets the lunge down the inside at 5. Opportunistic here using the banking. There's going to be door-to-door contact, but they keep the side-by-side going. Here comes Zulworks straight back down the inside, gets pinched, and Dirty Kohai takes the place.
Beautiful move from Kohai as we charge down into turns 10 and 11. Zul not wanting to let it go that easy, really trying to keep the pace going here as we go around turns 10 and 11 and down the backstretch. 21 of Zul starting to run down the 53 of Kohai again as we charge down into turn 12. Let's see if they just try to make a move, send it a little bit late, brakes just a little bit later, gets a little tighter on the curb than the 53 did. Runs a little bit over the green apron, I believe that's what it's called. Down into turns 1 and 2. Not a great move from the 53 through turn 2. Down into turns 3, 4, and 5 once again.
So patience is going to be needed here for Zulworks as Dirty Kohai now starts just extending the margin, just taking the corners a little bit better. One corner at a time makes all of the difference. But as also what has to be noted at this point, we are nearing that 1/3 stage of the race, which is 20 minutes in to the hour as they go, and it's a good time to talk about who's been making gains and who's been going backwards over the course of the run. So Dirty Kohai, for example, is up 4 spots from 10th on the grid. Your biggest mover is +6. That's Biggie Hugs in the 14 out there right now, trying to stay with David Katzer then for the 8th place and doing a very good job at keeping that within a second. Big wide lines being taken by the pair to diamond the line and get off of the exit. Your biggest losers in this one, Zen -4, Blackhawk Arc is -4, and Isaac Umbras down 11 by the fact of having to make a pit stop.
Yes, once again, very unfortunate for Isaac in the 722 as the 41 of David Katz goes over the curbs and slightly off track off of turn 2. Managed to get it back on, but a very scary moment there for the number 41 as we jump down a little bit further. Let's go down to Zrusi. Zusi? Again, I'm sorry.
Zrusi, yeah.
Zrusi, my apologies. Whoa! Big one in front of him! 47 around! That's Zen!
That's really not what Zen wants, and this is just as the leaders are coming into pits to make their stop. So Zen, having a massive slide, creates all sorts of problems then going out of turn 6, and that ultimately is just being too eager on the throttle and catching the curb, which really makes life difficult. So your top 2 have come in, and I think they're looking at this potentially as either doing a 20-40 or needing a 2-stop race. They're also going to be followed in by Zulworks for the first stop.
Ava, Danak, and Zul all down pit road. Midnight now in the lead in the number 31 North Star Toyota 86 out here tonight. JJ right behind them in the 45, 1 second back. Slowly pulling away is Midnight from the 45. Kronos staying out in third, 1.7 behind the leader. We go through turns 10 and 11. And onto the backstretch we go again. Very unfortunate move there for Zen, crumpling her nose into the wall off of turn 5 and 6 just before the Dunlop Bridge, but managed to get it spun back around. That's the important thing in these style of races. There's no point in towing it back. These cars are super repairable, especially here on iRacing. So the chances are of having severe damage are minimal, especially at a track that is slower like this one. You are able to recover. It might not be the best, situation for everybody, but you have a good chance. They only lost a few positions and they're still in the top 10.
Yeah, so Zen doing a very good job representing the Uma Musume machine that's out there, as now Lou Maynard will be coming down pit lane at this point in time. But Midnight in control for the moment because of the pit stop cycle that has been seen. And who is making moves right now is JJ to Traveler, who is doing everything right at this point. Has just got through on Kronos Nomura, and so it's next up on the docket, get to Midnight and run some laps at the front of the field.
That is the hope for JJ as we come through turn 12 now. Midnight still with a formidable lead here. It's just about 3/4 of a second up. 45 of JJ all the way over to the apron. 27 of Kronos still right behind them. But the 45 of JJ really running down this 31 of Midnight right ahead of him. 31 over the dirt again. 27, big slide off of turn 2. Managed to get it saved. That's one of the great things about these cars. These things are lightweight enough where if you can get the grip back, chances are you can save it. You have to be very careful with the overcorrection to get them straightened back out, and you can overdo it a lot. I cannot tell you how many times as a beginner, and to this day, I still mess that up. I'm not a perfect driver out there, but if you can't get it right, it sometimes just doesn't work out for you. As we charge down the backstretch, 45 of JJ right under the wing of Midnight in the lead. Sends it up to the inside, takes a peek anyway. We charge down into turn 12, both late on the brakes. 31 trying to defend as we come around the start-finish line.
Looking for a way to get that move done. JJ's a lot shallower off the exit of 12, and that's going to open up the inside into turn 1 and take that one away. He's trying to block the pass up. Here comes the drive off the exit, though, from Midnight, trying to pinch that over to the outside for JJ the Traveler. Now working through 4 into turn 5. The long road around can be run through the banking here. It's only about 5 degrees as you go through like a New Hampshire. Gets in the rear quarter panel, and the move is made by JJ the Traveler with no real opportunity out there to get it done. As that happened as well, though, Pat, Biggie Hugs moving up into the top 5, getting by David Katzer.
A lot of great racing happening now as we start settling into this race, and we are at the 25-minute mark. JJ with some beautiful moves, and Midnight with a great fight, holding him off for so long throughout the course of that lap. Really doing a good job as we start settling back in. JJ, the Traveler, already almost a second up on Midnight. This is some great racing we're watching happening out here. It's not more of where the skill level is with these drivers or the talent. It's just that these guys are all out here having fun. Yeah, sure. I mean, we have a couple cars a minute down. Zen and Striker both down pit road. Lou Maynard missed the start and is out, and of course my name's up there because I joined the session incorrectly, and that's my own fault. But let it be known that I was in the session today. But wow. Seriously, even with being down in 13th, Zool, they're putting on a good show out here at the moment. They're still on the lead lap. They're putting some good speed in. If they can get that car back out in a good shape after a pit stop, I'd say they have a good chance at winning this thing. They have been strong throughout practice and strong throughout qualifying. Just some bad luck.
The only caveat is they've taken a stop here, or Zool's taken a stop, and it's about 15-20 seconds down the road. That you can see the likes of Derek Kalmari and Ava Berry. So it looks like it's going to need a lot of work in the second half of the race to go and gather that back in that regard. But at least at this point in time, there is Denak Kalmari. They're running 10th and 11th out on circuit, as now in has come Kronos Nomura for that one stop out there, a lot closer to the halfway stage at this point. And generally, I would look at that as an indication that more and more are going to want to go through as the field cycles through their stops.
Couldn't agree with you more. JJ still leading the way, about 1.2 seconds up, 1 1/3 seconds up for a moment there. Dirty Koi down almost 3 off of Midnight in second. Starting to see this field spread back out again, but yes, I agree with you. Danak and Ava and Blackhawk really putting on a good show here ahead of Zulworks and Zen. Both, well, Zul at least down on the lead laps. Zen is down 1, Striker down 1 as well. But, you know, there's still opportunity out here. You don't know what's going to happen in this last half hour out here at Tsukuba as we get settled in once again and start going through the pit stops. Still riding on board with Danak off of turn 11 and down the backstretch into turn 12, trying to run down the one of Ava just ahead of them. Excuse me. I'm all over the place today.
No, don't worry about it, but Danak Kamari is trying to do that and staying in range, and I wonder whether biding time to the end of the race, just toying there, allowing to stay at about 5 seconds, 6 seconds out there, or sorry, 6/10 of a second out there to try and put that into play. So that, I think, is going to be quite telling. And we are seeing these stops come in, and they're actually rather long here, Pat. And part of that reason is because effectively you've only got one person to change the wheels out there. It's not like you've got a massive pit crew that's down there who can change all 4 at the same time. You've got to get 1, 2, 3, 4, and basically it's just one person running around the car with a wheel gun going, right, I need to get 1 off and then get this tire on. And basically you've got to do that 4 times to get out. It takes a very surprising long amount of time. And so with that change, you get the chance to say, look, I am going to drop at this stage. I look at where Ava Berry is, 40 seconds plus in a pit stop. It makes a huge amount of difference, and I think we'll get the understanding of that now, as down in on the lane is Zrusi Bun.
Zrusi Bun at 29 minutes, just 1 minute away from the halfway mark. Yes, I couldn't agree with you more. The one person or 2 people, I'm not entirely sure, who are in your pit crew out here at Tsukuba and with iRacing in general in these 86 Cup cars. Yeah, but you're going to lose some serious time here. I believe what we were seeing earlier was about 35 seconds, maybe 40 seconds. So the majority of a lap, it does, if you're towards the back or the midfield of the pack, you have to be worried about going a lap down and considering who has not yet hit ahead of you, especially primarily the leaders out here as we join with JJ Traveler once again as we go through turns 5 and 6 and towards the Dunlop Bridge in the 45.
Did a 102.2 on that last lap, and that was a full 9/10 of a second quicker than Midnight Art, who's there behind. But I will note that Ava Berry did a 101.4 on that last lap, and so if you're talking about net gains, losing 6/10 of a second a lap, but we'll be losing the time right now here on what is known as the overcut. So you lose the time now by staying out a little bit longer, but the bigger key is when you get the fresh tyres, you can run back through the field towards the end of the race.
That's exactly what I was talking about earlier. This is where the mind games and strategy really start to come into play here. We're still on board with JJ. Let's jump down into the field a little bit more once again. Let's go down to David Katz in the 41. Putting a good show out here as well. Down into turns 1 and 2. Holding off the 5... wait, is that...
That is the
Zrusi
5 a lap
Bun down a lap. My apologies. I was really confused for a second. It's like, wait a minute, that's not right on the timesheet. Trying to hold off Zrusi Bun from getting that lap back as he's fighting the 14 of Biggie Hugs just ahead of him. Losing time, though, in this fight in holding off the number 5 behind him. Yes, you don't want to be stuck in traffic, but at the same time, especially on the straights here, while they're not hugely long or hugely fast, the draft does help, or the slipstream does really help in these GR86 Cup cars. Any advantage in speed that you can get in a straight line will help you in a long run, rather than trying to run by yourself. And again, with this track being so rough with how these tires are in any race car, this place will shred tires, so I'm assuming that most drivers are not going to want to go too much longer out here with this overcut strategy as Blackhawk goes down to 13th in the number 25 down pit road at 32 minutes.
Yep, it's the left-hand side tyres that will take the beating here on this clockwise circuit. Most of the corners then go to the right, so it's the outside tyres that get all of the hit. Leaves the lane then as Zrusi, who will be on better tyres than David Kachka at this stage, is going to want to try and get through both David and Biggie Hugs, or maybe even just stay behind and run at the pace that is levelled at this stage. Now comes an interesting position after coming out of the pits. Is effectively going to be a lap down, takes a very shallow line back down off the circuit. This is going to bring Ava Berry to the inside, gets the clearance sorted then with Danak Kalmari, and so now that brings the transfer over. In from second comes Midnight.
Down pit road, Midnight in the number 31. Late on the commit, but that is perfectly fine.
Missed box.
He overshot his box too. Very poor stop from the 32 of Midnight. He had to back up and get back into his box. We jump back onto our leader, JJ the Traveler. If I hope that's right. Dirty Kohai.
That is right.
It is? Oh, thank God. Kohai almost 6.25 seconds behind. JJ just has to run some smooth laps out here. I don't think he has yet pitted. The question is, how much longer does he want to risk staying out? Yes, the undercut strategy does work in both. If someone pits early, you have the chance to stay out longer, have the advantage of grip. But how long do you really want to stay out, especially if you're the leader? What are you going to be gaining from running so far ahead of the field? Because you may run into parts of traffic when you come back out. Because at the moment, if he pitted now, he would come out just behind the 54 of Kamari and Ava Berry, I believe. He'd be right behind that fight and just ahead of Midnight in the number 31 as he rolls through underneath the Dunlop Bridge again.
Well, I look at where Midnight is out on circuit and working through turn 11 and is directly ahead of Isaac Umbras, who pitted in the opening 5 minutes of the race, and Zulworks there. So I would say, as far as lead lap goes, that's about 15 seconds off the back of your leaders who have done well. Dirty Kohai in as well from second place, and they're not fuel limited on this race, and that's normally what would dictate when you come in, is when you run out of fuel. They've got fuel to get to the end. There's a change between Ava now and Danak Kalmari, which has gone through. That's a pass that has taken its play as that went through turns 10 and 11 on the last lap. And critically there, I think for Ava, a mistake going in on the brakes, and she's going to now have to try and drag it back now from the position of running through, quote unquote, the world's fastest doggo is looking to get a way back up the order and into what I believe is the net race lead.
Again, the real question is, though, how much longer will this top four really decide to stay out? JJ Traveler, Biggie Hugs, David Katz, and Cypher all still leading the way in the top four with a considerable lead at the moment. Danak Kamari in fifth, 35 seconds behind. Again, the real question is, what do you take? Well, obviously it's a 4-tire mandatory stop, so my apologies, because I was about to say, how many tires do you take? And then I remember, so oops. But the question is, you really have to get the timing right. You don't want to be stuck in the middle of a brand new fight on cold tires, especially on a rough racing surface like this one. And as we've seen off of the late racing line, a very dirty racetrack, which will not help you much at all in terms of overall grip. We race down the backstretch once again. Danak still holding a good lead over Ava Berry. We roll through turn 12. Both cars right up against the curb. Over the curbs and onto the apron. Whoa, big slide from the one of Ava Berry. Huge move off of turn 12 past the start finish line. Not quite sure what happened there. Might have gotten a little bit sideways, rejoining the racing surface. Managed to save it, but lost some time to Danak ahead of her.
I wonder as well whether that might be to get in the mirrors, just get really wide and just try and find as much distraction potentially as possible there. But Ava, she knows how it is to go out there, be aggressive, find results. She has been a member of the Creator Series broadcasts, which have featured on iRacing's YouTube channel in the past, and ultimately a driver who can go out there and race with the best of content creators out there, and joins the likes of, say, Lithium Fox and Reska Kyoso in that regard. Now in pit lane is JJ to Traveller from the race lead. That will hand Biggie Hugs the control of the category as it stands, but you look at how long it takes to get those 4 tyres in. Ava and also Denak are going to come through and easily overtake, so that shows you the difference.
Kronos and Midnight, the next to potentially pass JJ as he's still down pit road. Biggie Hugs with another big bite out of the curbs and the grass underneath the Dunlop Bridge. My apologies for the stutter there. Through 9 and into 10. David Katz stuck behind. I believe that is the 5 of Zrusibun, excuse me. I'm trying here, folks. David Katz.
I tell you what, we do need to go backwards here to where JJ the Traveller's come out the pits, because this has suddenly become a 6-car gaggle out there on track. Look at this. Kronos Nomura's got the clearance here. Midnight now's trying to get into play. Behind that is Zulworks and Dirty Kohai, who are trying to get there. Lovely crossover then that comes through 7 and into 8. Then from Midnight, works for the angle here at 10. Down the inside, and is going to lean on it, and there's contact behind as well as Dirty Kohai pushes his way through with the old NASCAR chrome horn.
Still side by side with JJ and Midnight down the backstretch, both getting the draft from the 27 of Kronos ahead of them. Fantastic battle with these 4 cars. Dirty Kohai and Zool falling back a little bit here as we come off of turn 12 and down the front stretch into turn 1 we go again. Kronos still holding a good lead at the moment over the 31 and the 45, still side-by-side fighting. 45 falling back behind Midnight as we go into turns 4 and 5 and 6, I can't remember. I'm trying here, folks, I really am. I apologize if it's a bit botched. We're doing the best I can as we go underneath the Dunlop Bridge again. JJ in a good flight now for a top 6 position here at Tsukuba.
Oh, and there's almost contact there front to rear for Midnight on the back of Kronos Nomura, so was really hoping to find it, was really hoping to get it, and ultimately didn't quite manage to get that run. As you can see, they just pull out of line, looking for a way there. Dirty Kohai trying to run up through the train. Isaac Umbers is going to be the interesting one in this group. I think he's going to struggle to hold on to this one, Pat, as here comes the move to the inside now from Midnight. Is going to get the launch up the hill into the plateau of turn 1. Kohai will also do the same. Here comes JJ the Traveller to do the same. Tufa then in on Kronos Nomura, but Dirty Kohai also getting the moves. I think I've got to worry about Isaac Umbers. The tyres are going to be a lot more worn.
Couldn't agree with you more as we are approaching the 40-minute mark. Only 20 minutes left in this race. Biggie Hugs down pit road now. David Katz up to the lead. Cypher still down pit road. Zen, the only car behind Cypher at the moment, both 1 lap down from the leader. Zrusibun, last car on the lead lap now. David Katz still leading the way. Danak, Kamari, and Ava Berry back up to 2nd and 3rd. What a recovery from them as they're very close proximity as we jump up and take a look at the battle between these two again. These two have been glued together for essentially the entire race, putting on a fantastic show as we roll through turns 4 and 5 and 6 as they both go through an expedition into the grass, running over the curbs again underneath the Dunlop Bridge into turns 8 and 9.
And with that, they now find themselves nose to tail, working through 10 and 11, and in comes David Katz to make that stop, that one stop that cycles the field out and says everyone's had at least one stop on the board. Ava Berry to the inside here at turn 12, looking for the race lead. They've allowed it to be just between these two with the way they've run on their strategy. Ava gets a much better launch off of the exit of 12. Now can climb the hill and go for this run here. It's going to have to be a block pass in through because There's the try and crossover from Danak Kalmari. He's going to lean on the rear tyre. This is what this style of racing often produces and brings. Close quarters, side-by-side battling out there. Isaac Umbra is also in a scrap as well as dropping back his Kronos Nomura, but Ava Berry runs slightly wide. This should be the move confirmed at 7. Thank you very much, it is.
Ava putting on a great show, still fighting off the 54 of Danak, as Danak sends one up the inside into turns 10 and 11. Might get the switchback again on Ava. She runs over the rumble strips into the grass, still side by side off of turn 11, down the backstretch, door to door, as we race down towards turn 12. This is some electrifying racing. Still side by side. Ava stuck on the outside, has to take the long way around, brakes a little bit late. Bold move, in my opinion, from the number 1. 54 right alongside as she runs wide over the curbs and onto the apron again. Still side by side down into turn 1.
Trying everything here around the outside. It's going off as well with fireworks for third. So it's a case of where do you look out here on this circuit. There's no give up for Danak Kalmari here. He's going to have to go to the outside of turn 5 in order to get this one sorted. But again, Ava Berry, she covers it off, does Blueberry, on the inside and says, yes, I am going to be holding my position. I am going to still be in the race lead. But now they've given themselves 22 seconds at the front to go and have this fight. JJ the Traveller back up into third, ahead of Dirty Kohai and Midnight now 4th and 5th. And so they also have what they need to know. And as we go back to them going through the exit of 5 and 6 and into turn 7, the right is now forming here. 2 packs of 3 here, 3rd, 4th and 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th.
Fantastic little pack as we start settling into the final 15-ish minutes here. JJ the Traveller off of turn 11 with the 53 of Dirty Kohai and more Midnight right behind them. My apologies. Umbras and Zool behind them as well, with Kronos at the rear of this little pack of 6 cars. Again, there's a lot of really fast cars out here. Ignoring the gaps between our leaders and the 3rd place of JJ at the moment, this is some fantastic racing. Sure, you might not be, close to the lead at the moment, but that could change in these last 15 or so minutes. You never know what's going to happen, especially in these GR86 cars, as Kohai gives us all a friendly flash of the headlights. We charge through turns 5 and 6 and over towards the Dunlop Bridge.
And this is where you work hard through turn 7, look to get the drive off the exit, pull away, and that gap is extending out now at the moment to about 7 car lengths for JJ to Traveller, who will be very happy that that gap is just continuing to pull itself away, with Kohai being stretched, Midnight unable to keep up. Isaac Umbra is doing actually a really stellar job down in 6th position to keep this one close and honest, with Zool and Kronos then on the back, with that setting itself into play. I think you're now trying to buy your ticket to the end of this race. You're looking at what time do I take the percentage moves away? Do I go to the 50% move, the 40, the 30% move? When do I start throwing haymakers out there when you're hearing the round 12 bell?
Couldn't agree with more with that. You need to start really considering when to be more aggressive, when to start holding back. A lot of these guys running single file at the moment. We still have Ava and Danak at the lead with just about half a second, or less than half a second, between the two of them. But we'll stay on board with Isaac Umbras and Zool Works right behind, with Midnight just ahead as well. Some good distance between these cars, but enough to make it still somewhat competitive, as the 722 gets a good turn through that turns 10 and 11, trying to run down the 31 of Midnight just ahead, getting some help from the slipstream.
Got to go to the race lead because, again, Danak's gone for a move down the inside. It's not quite paid off here heading in towards turn number 5, but there is definitely a sense from Danak Kalmari that there are attempts every single time to go for these moves, to the left, to the right, up, down, left, right, slantways. I'm sure that the great glass elevator of Willy Wonka wouldn't have enough of a way to find a pass on Ava Berry at the moment, but Danak trying to find this way to make it work through 10 and 11. But I turn around, Pat, I look at this, I'm just starting to wonder, where would you want to be with 10 minutes to go, with 5 minutes to go? Because I'd quite like to be in Danak's situation.
Couldn't agree with you more. Danak is arguably in the better position overall between this battle for the leaders at the moment. Ava, excuse me, running a fantastic race out here. Don't get me wrong, but you really want to be in second place. Well, if everybody was a little bit closer, you really want to be down, in my opinion, down in third or fourth. Have enough cars to give you some people to work with, some extra drafting partners on these straights, as short as they are. Again, any little speed advantage does tend to help. Two cars are faster than one. If you had somebody to work with on the inside, someone might be able to give you a push, or you might be able to tow off of a lap car ahead if they are off the racing line down the backstretch as we go through turns 10 and 11. Ava still holding a commendable lead at the moment, about a car and a half, 2 cars off of turn 11 and down the backstretch. Danak falling back a little bit, not sure if his tires are giving up or if he's just generally slower through this rear half of the track, but he is definitely keeping up in this first half as we come around turn 12 past the start-finish line. Danak still putting on a really good fight as he runs all the way onto the grass, doing a little bit of rallycross here at Tsukuba.
I think he's pushing a bit too hard now, maybe slightly overdriving the car compared to Ava Berry. They've got a group of 4 of lap traffic in front, which is Striker 1 lap down, then the battle between Zen, Cypher, and Zrusi Bun, which is going on right now for 11th place. If they catch that, they got to run through it. And of course, lap traffic has to be on road course racing like this, respectful about allowing drivers to get through. But if they're fighting for their own battle out there, Pat, they've got every license to go out there and say, no, I need you to hold a couple corners so that I can finish my battle.
100% on that, as we're on board with the 5 of Zrusi Bun, with the 39 of Cypher and the 47 of Zen just behind them. Last cars on the lead lap at the moment. Can't quite make out who that is behind them, but Ava and Danak just coming around turn 12 now as the 5, 39, and 47 come through turns 1 and 2, down through 3, 4, and into 5. Good little pack here. I agree with you on that. Running for 11th place. Good battle so far. The 39 unsponsored car of Cypher putting on a great show out here. A lot of these guys towards the back, yeah, sure. Again, you're not in a high position, but you're still getting some screen time because this is some great racing from everybody out here. We're not racing for, anything serious. We're not racing for a huge cash prize, excuse me. I have a little bit of a stutter these days for some reason. No big cash prize, no big glamour or glory. It's just a little bit of bragging rights, and sometimes that's all racing needs to be as we approach 10 minutes left in this race out here at Tsukuba.
So, heading into these final 10 minutes, you're in or what we would call 2-minute warning out there. Is that a huge kicker tail in the background? A shot from Striker as there's a push from these 3 of Zen, Cypher, Zrusi Bun trying to get through. Striker has had to struggle with a lap down, and behind Striker, again, looking to that nose to get through, is that battle for the lead. And Danak's got a run here as it was a case of Ava struggling to get the rotation through the traction control, just blipping on for a moment with the over-rotation of the steering wheel. Has it covered, though, at 5 and 6, and Danak will think, that was a half chance.
I agree with you with what you were saying a little bit earlier. Danak is definitely pushing a little too hard as Striker goes completely off the track, trying to stay out of the way. Hopefully he didn't set himself into the wall there off of turn 10. No, he didn't. He's back on the racing surface. Managed to recover it. As far down as Striker currently is, down in 14th and a couple laps down, he has been putting one heck of a race on out there tonight. Not a lot of luck overall, running all over the dirt, but he's been putting on a good show out there overall. Sometimes it's just about turning laps.
Yeah, and ultimately, that's what you have to do. 2 laps down will technically be on the same lap as Black Hawk Arc, but has 3/4 of a lap advantage on that. Did actually clip the wall going through 7 into 8 by just putting the foot down on the grass, which is never recommended because the rear's just spun up. And there wasn't really much more that could be done outside of that. So that pretty much set back escapade there, and it still is all about this gap and the clock ticking over. So 8:50 left on the clock, and now you're just thinking about, can I outlast the clock out there? And really, I think if you're in Ava Berry's shoes here, Pat, I think this is how quickly can I run back to Tokyo Metro Station?
That's a very funny way to put it. I gotta be honest, that's making me smile over here. But I agree with you. Danak is really putting the pressure on. Again, still overdriving it a little bit. He has been cleaning it up these past few laps, but Ava is definitely under some serious pressure from this 54 as we roll through turns 1 and 2. Danak still right there behind her, just under half a second with 8 minutes to go officially. Danak really needs the number 1 of Ava to make a mistake and try and capitalize on it when it does happen. She really has been cutting over the curb in turn 7 and into 8. That may be what bites her in the end. Don't want to clip that curb too much. It will send you for a ride, especially, or if you run too far over it, you may get a time penalty. You have to serve that, and at this point in the race, that could be catastrophic.
Well, they know that that slowdown penalty could be huge, and more on top of that, they don't have to worry about instant points out there. There's no limit available on it, so they just know it's just a pure flat-out race that they now got to get over towards the end. If they basically beat and bump panels, they've got license to do so all day long and twice here on Sunday night to go about it. And I would say right now Danak's having a very good battle out there. So too, by the way, is Midnight for the top 5, as there'll be no change into 5 and 6 because Isaac Umbers, I think, is getting a second lease of life here. Midnight struggling to get as much rotation in through some of the corners, and being on a set of tyres for as long as Isaac Umbers is, I think he's really understanding what this Toyota GR86 is giving him at the moment.
As simple as these cars really kind of are, I agree with you. These GR86 Cup cars
Here we go.
built by Toyota are incredibly fun, and they're incredibly sophisticated to drive. These are not road, well, they are road cars, but these are completely stripped. They're given, I believe, a sequential gearbox, so speedier, zippier shifts, no clutch to really worry about. These guys are running some really good cars out here, and again, it's just for fun. You don't need to worry about anything, no incidents to worry about, as long as you're not wrecking people on purpose. We're all out here to have a good time, bang some doors in, beat some fenders together, and have a good time. As long as no one's in the catch fence, in my opinion, it's a good day to be racing.
Yeah, it's been a great day of battling out there when we see it here, and now 5:55 left, so gap slowly starting to push it on and around, so that's more than enough to say I've got defensive cover here for Midnight, and the leaders are starting to get to lapped traffic out there. Black Hawk Arc is next up then to try and get by, and that is going to be enough to say on these back stretches, this is what Ava needs on the draft, and we'll be looking around at Danak and hoping to get the old NFL saying and looking around and thinks, Danak, are you who I thought you was?
Sorry, that made me laugh. But yes, Danak really capitalizing on some draft there. As we saw down the backstretch, he really reeled in Ava as he's right on her bumper again as we go through turns 3 and 4 into 5 and 6. Danak all over her bumper once again. This time he really has to capitalize on it. Ava running down the 25 of Blackhawk as we charge down into 7 under the Dunlop Bridge into 8 and 9. Blackhawk trying to stay out of the way for this battle of the lead. Staying nice and high through turns 10 and 11. 54 over-braked a little bit, but got the better rotation off of turn 11. Still right there behind Ava, but now he's lost another car and a half to her again. This seems to be a recurring issue with him on these final turns. In my opinion, he does not have the same speed that Ava seems to be carrying.
Right, let's talk laps here, because they're going to cross the line with about 4:18, 4:17 left on the clock, so 4:18 it is. That's 5 laps left to go in this race. They're doing 101.9s and 101.7s out there at this point. So overtake is the highest priority that's going to be there. You are now looking at this thinking, can I get there? Ava is just looking to run the gauntlet, get to Zrusi, get to Zen, get to Cypher. Zrusi has fallen to the back of that group in front, but Ava now starting to stretch the legs here and is starting to put the pressure back onto Danak. Can you keep up? Can you find a way to hold my level? And at the moment, it's a case of you're close, but close doesn't win races. You need to be better than close. You need to be passed.
That is some serious sentiment, and I couldn't agree with you more. Ava is just demolishing the field out here. Despite the pit stops, she has been the most dominant car on track, I believe having led the most laps out here so far at Tsukuba. We come down towards 3:15 to go across the line. Probably only 3 or 4 laps left in this race. Ava doing a masterclass out here, in my opinion. Danak has been getting really close. They've been doing a fantastic job in that number 54, but I'm just not sure if they're going to have the pace to catch this number 1 of Ava Berry as we start going through traffic once again. Zrusi Bun just ahead of the number 1.
But the question will be, how aggressive are you going to be on this traffic? Ava is ragging that Toyota GR86 through 7 and 8. I think understanding I've got to get there and get by, get cars in betwixt and between myself and Danak Kalmari. That's what Ava's probably thinking about at this moment in time. Whether there is going to be enough to get the breakaway or whether there is going to be something where you say, look, I've been managing this race, but if I get stuck for a lap or two or a corner or two, how much of a gap am I going to get? Now extends out over that final corner. I think Ava is going deep in the tank and she's realizing time is of the essence with 3 laps to go. I've got to jump through cars one at a time.
Starting to put the pressure on these lap cars of Zrusi Bun, Zen, and Cypher all ahead. Really driving the heck out of that number 1 Ava Berry machine. Again, the real question is now, is she overdriving this car? As we've noticed her completely running over the curbs in turn 8 more times than I can remember at this point. We have 1 minute and 35 seconds to go through turns 10 and 11. Right on the bumper of the number 5 trying to stay out of the way, but still ahead of her as we charge down the backstretch.
Not letting it go.
Question is,
Pat,
is she... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wonder here. They're sitting with 2 left. I wonder whether this is going to be enough, whether this is just going to have to be, I am going to have to make a pass on lap traffic, and that's even tougher than having traffic just jump out of the way for you. That is a hard-earned car to get by. Now the question will be, oh, and that's really critical, Danak just picks the pocket and doesn't have the same problem.
Very bold from Danak, but again, this track is just very small, and I don't blame Zrusi too much there. Sometimes it's just better to get in a draft train, work together for the charge down that backstretch, try to help Ava out, get the advantage over Danak down into turn 12. But again, we're stuck in more lap traffic as Zen in the 47 Uma Musume. I believe that is TM Opera O, because I'm just that invested in that. Down the backstretch just ahead of her, and the unmarked 39 of Cypher just up the road.
Yeah, horseball out there the same way a lot of people do as this goes, but Barney awaits them at the line with the white flag, which will indicate 1 more lap to go here at Tsukuba. Ava Berry looking to get to the inside of Zen, who lifts out then on the throttle, allows the pass to go, and that gap at 1.2 seconds over the line. I think for Danak, it's fading at the wrong time in the orange GR86. I think this one needs a mistake, and there have been few and far between out there in a race like this one. I think it's been a very tough day at the office. You've had to work to stay in. It's been a wide strategy to know where everyone else is over the course of racing action through turn 8. And I think Ava's last worry is going to be Cypher, whether you're going to get clearance or not. And there will only be 1 more corner to go. Gets narrow off of the section now. Is going to understand that there is clearance needed heading into turn number 12 out there. And now, just hit your mark and find that necessary line through the final right-hander. This has been a well-measured defense to hold that place. Ava Berry takes the opening round of the Aino Image iRacing Cup.
What a fantastic race here at Tsukuba, excuse me. I was about to call it Tsubaka again. Tsukuba from Ava Berry. What an absolute show from her out there in that number one. Danak Kamari right behind her, though. Stuck in a little bit of traffic at the end of that race, but a commendable race regardless from that 54. Take a bow, the both of you. JJ, the Traveler, with another fantastic finish down in third in that number 45. What a fantastic race we've had out here tonight.
It's been some wonderful running here as the last two runners we await for the line, Biggie Hugs and David Katz, who is down there in 10th place, is the last car that will be heading itself over to the checkered flag. And the confirmation then is going to be so critical as they cross, and Katz throws it in the wall over the line then, just to say that is a day written as far as it goes. So let's get confirmation of result then, and let's try and pull that up on screen as way into the barriers there for celebration. Ava getting the result done, and getting the result done fairly, taking the tow back to pit lane. 1 hour and 50 seconds, the winning time, and a winning margin of 1.4 in the end over Danak Kalmari, who pushed out there over to the line, Ava Berry. JJ the Traveler will take third ahead of Dirty Kohai and Midnight R, who would still hold on to a top 5 finish over Isaac Umbras, who pitted very early on in the race. Zorworks will end up 7th ahead of Kronos Nomura and Big E Hugs, as David Katz would be the last car on the lead lap. Cypher, first a lap down, finishes 11th ahead of Zen and Zrusi Bun, with Striker in 14th and Black Hawk Arc in 15th. The one retiree then from this race ultimately being Lou Maynard, who, by our understanding, picked up a penalty for speeding because of the pit limiter not being on and being so far back down the order. Troubles then fell into that. We're going to take this chance then to go and get some interviews on board. And Pat, I believe you have the power and I do not.
Okay, let's get Ava Berry up in here and see what she has to say after that incredible win here in the opening round at Tsukuba. Let's get her. Ava Berry, this is Pat Wilkinson and Jake Sparry up in the booth. You got us.
Oh, I hope so. Ava?
Hello.
There you are.
Hello.
Right, let's talk first and foremost about that battle over the final 20 minutes of that race. Danak Kalmari gave you a real good push over around at Tsukuba. It looked like there was a small mistake here, a small mistake there, but the key being how you find that consistency. Talk us through having to deal with what were very much cases of you having to push at 10/10 there.
Yeah, that battle was a lot of fun. I think it was the highlight of the race, and yeah, good race, Danek.
Ava, towards the midpoint of that race, when you were going through your pit stops, what were your strategies there? Running a little bit earlier down pit road. Why not stay out a little bit more towards the halfway mark? Why did you decide to come out early?
I just decided on a random time to come down. And I guess Danak was gonna come down when I came down. So it all worked out in the end. Realized that we had enough fuel for the entire race, so it was up to me whenever I came down to the pits.
So in that regard, let's just talk through your championship leader after one race, which is really great. But let's talk about round 2 of the championship for you. June 14th, Lime Rock Park Chicanes, going back to a circuit that every sim racer should know like the back of their hand.
Yeah, I'm excited for the next race. I'm excited for the entire season. A lot of tracks that I'm familiar with. Good luck, everyone.
Good luck, everyone, indeed. Blueberry there joining us and getting the all-comparable race result of victory out there. As Pat, I believe you've got yourself down with 2nd place overall in just a moment's time, which would have been with that result, Danak Kalmari.
Yep, I will pull that up in just a moment here. Thank you, Blueberry, for joining us up in the booth. Fantastic win out there tonight. Congratulations on taking round 1 of the Aino Image iRacing Cup.
Thank you.
Let's get Danak Kamari up in here next. Your second place finisher. Danak Kamari. This is Pat Wilkinson
Hello.
and Jake Sparry up in the booth. You got us.
Yeah, hello. That was a very intense race. I really tried hard to get past Ava, but in the end, Ava was just clearly faster. I kept behind them, I pressured them. They just didn't crack, but I'm pretty happy with a P2.
Let's talk about how that worked from the beginning of the race, because I think you needed to hold the level. It looked like it was close early on in terms of you had a group, you were able to break away from the likes of Kronos, for example. There, Midnight was close to begin with, but once it became 1v1, was that just a case of anything you can do, I'm just going to follow your line?
That was pretty much it. I mean, going into the race, I had the feeling that I wouldn't be able to match Ava's raw pace, so I was just trying to hopefully stay behind the master lines, pressure them to make a mistake, and they did crack at one point, but then I also cracked. Lost the P1 again here. But yeah, it was good fighting all throughout. Nice and clean.
That was one heck of an effort between you and Blueberry out there tonight here at Tsukuba. What a fantastic race, Danak. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we sign off?
I am tired and I'm sweaty, so I need a shower. That's my immediate thought at the moment here. But it was a good race. It was fun battling all throughout here. So looking forward to the next time.
So are we. Jake, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think that's more than enough, Danak. I would say go enjoy and have a very good result. Enjoy your shower or sauna or whatever it is that you need to do.
It was already a sauna in my cockpit, but yeah, thank you. See ya.
All right, thank you for joining us up in the booth. Oh, there he goes. Okay, that works. Let's get JJ the Traveler, and we will call it a night for this wonderful broadcast. JJ the Traveler, this is Pat Wilkinson and Jake Sparry up in the booth. You got us.
Yep, I got you.
Let's talk about strategy. You went out long in terms of what you needed to do, had a few laps out there in the lead. The decision to go maybe longer out there, get an understanding, were you just finding a groove over the course of the laps, just getting better and better set then with that GR86?
Yeah, pretty much. I kept going consistently in like the 102 range, and I didn't really notice much tire wear or variation in lap time. So I decided to just stay out long and then try and save the fresh tires for like a slightly lighter fuel load, because obviously fuel wasn't an issue in this case.
Sorry about that. I had something I needed to take a look at first. My apologies. JJ, that was some incredible work out there tonight. You led the way for just a moment there. Fantastic effort from that number 45 car. Talk us through some of the strategy out there tonight. I noticed you stayed out just that little bit longer trying to get the overcut strategy to work out. And, inevitably at 23.009 seconds down off of the leader, just didn't work out in the end. But you still got a fantastic top 3. That is a commendable effort out here in these GR86 Cup cars. Congratulations here at Tsukuba.
Thank you. It was mostly just a case of survive the first lap because it was going to be Armageddon, but then as I got more comfortable with the car, I just found that I had a lot of pace. So I started making aggressive moves, to put it lightly, and then just try and work my way forward. Just keep going with my tires. It didn't feel like they were melting, and just save the fresh ones for the ends and go for the best, and it ended up with P3.
And in that regard, you had to really fight in just coming out of the pits because you had a 6-car train in around. You were able to get to the front of that group and push forward. Was those final 20 minutes getting that ability to battle, to jump ahead, to confirm the result? Does that give you confidence heading to Lime Rock in what is, I believe at this point, 3 weeks' time?
It does give me a lot of confidence, yes. I actually nearly threw it away because I slightly overshot my box, so I lost like a solid 5 seconds there. But I was happy to just fight back and see what I could do. I knew I had the pace, so with this confidence, hopefully... I'm not sure if I'll be able to catch both Blue and Danak, but I don't know. We'll have to see.
Well, thank you, JJ, for joining us up in the booth tonight here at Tier 1 Studio. We thank you for joining us, and congratulations on a fantastic P3 out here at Tsukuba. Thanks for joining us for the first race of the VTuber Cup. Hello?
There we go.
Oh, okay,
Wow.
I guess he just left. Or my internet died there for a moment because everything went silent. It's like, where'd everybody go?
Well, Pat, we now come to the end of the opening round of the championship here, and it's clear where the pace lies, that this is not going to be a case of one driver running away. So how do you think these drivers are going to settle themselves out heading from Tsukuba, over to Lime Rock Park, a circuit that every sim racer should know?
Well, as a sim racer that is not super comfortable or super confident at Lime Rock, despite that being one of my home tracks, being here in New England, the beautiful state of Connecticut, home of Lime Rock Park. But yes, it is a different style of racetrack, a lot higher speed. The chicanes make that just that little bit extra challenge. But I think that with this field, with what we saw today, that there is going to be a fantastic race coming up in a few weeks' time at Lime Rock, and I'm just excited for it. I can't even predict anything that's going to happen in that race. I'm just excited.
The only place you can catch that is here with us on Tier 1 Studios. If you haven't had a chance already, you can check out the Tier 1 setups that are there and available to help you get over to the next level. From the entire team that's brought this over to you, from Pat Wilkinson alongside myself, Jake Sperry, this is a day where dominance does not show itself as one driver, but two out there. And when you get two titans fighting at the top of sport, you talk about who has been the best and who can fight it. It's like, say, for example, rest in peace, Kyle Busch versus Jimmy Johnson or Dale Earnhardt Jr. It's like a case of, say, turning around and seeing Senna and Prost, or seeing out there Max Verstappen versus Lewis Hamilton. But the key here is this. It looks like Ava and Denak are going to have a scrap, and round one, ultimately, of this lands a points victory for Ava Berry. But will this be the same when we head in 3 weeks' time over to Lime Rock Park?
Thank you all for joining us tonight here at Tier 1 Studios. We hope you've enjoyed the Aino Image Racing iRacing Cup here at Tsukuba Circuit, the 2000 full, with these GR86 Cup cars and the VTuber Garage. What a fantastic night of racing. Jake, thanks for joining me up in the booth and helping me get up to speed a little bit. Apologies if I wasn't the brightest one at the start, but we managed to get there in the end. I'd say that was a fantastic race from everybody out here tonight, regardless of position. 15 cars had a fantastic night of racing, and I just can't wait for the next time when we're at Lime Rock. Well, folks, you have spent a perfectly good hour and a half with all of us here at Tier 1 Studios. We thank you all for joining us tonight. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more racing action. Coming up on Tuesday, we will be back with the Wild West Racing League and their late model series. We will be doing, as far as I'm aware, a tribute lap or two to the incredible Kyle Busch, who was sadly passed away as of this past Thursday at the age of 41. Our hearts and minds go out to his family at this time as they go through a terrible tragedy. But until next time, thank you all for watching. We hope you've enjoyed. And until Tuesday, goodbye, farewell, and amen.
Looking to take your racing to the next level? You need speed and you need style. At Tier 1 Setup Shop, we'll help you hit the track with total confidence. We provide race-winning setups for all three eNASCAR series, Cup, Xfinity, and Trucks, plus a huge variety of asphalt oval cars. We've also brought that performance to the dirt. Winged and non-winged sprint cars, micro sprints, dirt midgets, all built by racers who know how to win. And now, get the perfect look. We offer professional wraps and graphics with Tier 1 wraps. Multiple feature artists make it easy to find a design to fit your exact needs and budget. Get what you need when you need it with individual setup purchases, or get full weekly access with a Tier 1 subscription. Tier 1 Setup Shop. You're more than a customer, you're part of the team.
This isn't just another sim race, this isn't just another online league, and this isn't just another trophy on a shelf. This is the Charity Cup Series.
Drivers choose the charity. Talent chooses the winner. The culture is strong, but the competition is stronger. Most events focus on just one cause, not here. Each driver selects a charity to race for, leaving dozens of causes in contention as drivers fight for a place in the top 5.
Think you've got what it takes to join the Charity Cup Series? Find a cause you believe in and buckle up. This is more than your everyday sim racing experience. This is the Charity Cup Series.
This
Yeah. Fired up. This one's for the drivers. Out in the shop, late night lights, grease on our hands, chasing lap times, every turn, every line we find. Trying to build that edge you feel when you drive. From the blacktop tracks to the dirt out back, we've been putting in work, yeah, we live like that. Not just fast for a lap, we make it last. So when it counts, you're gone on the gas. We don't guess, we know what it takes. Every setup built from the ground, we break. If you want that feel when the car locks in, you're in the right place. Let's go win. Yeah, we built one. Yeah, we built for the win. Hammer down, let it ride, do it all again. From the green flag flying to the checkered drop, with a reason you're leading Tier 1. Setup shop Tier 1. Take it straight to the front. League nights, open runs with the ones you want. Dialed in speed, yeah, we don't miss shots. If you want to win races, Tier 1 setup shop. Got weekly sets ready, ready to roll. Quality trim sharp, race pace control. Builders in the lab, yeah, they stay on it. Every tweak, every change, we gain on it. Need a custom fit, yeah, we do that too. Built to match your style, what you like to do. And it ain't just speed, it's a team right here. We ride together every lap, every gear, yeah, we test, we tune, we put in the miles. Turn bad weeks into victory smiles. From rookies to pros, we're all about growth. Now fire that motor, let's get to the front. Yeah, we built for the win, yeah, we built for the win. Hammer down, let it ride, do it all again. From the green flag flying to the checkered drop, with a reason you're leading Tier 1. Setup shop Tier 1. Yeah, you know the name. When the pressure's on, we bring the game. From the shop to the track, yeah, we don't stop. If you want to win races, Tier 1 setup shop. See you in Victory Lane. Tier 1 setup shop. Tier 1.